It is The Riot. This is the Tuesday edition of the podcast, August 22nd. And we have a special guest on the show today, Nikki, joining in. Howdy, Nikki.
Hi, good morning or good day. Hello, everybody. Happy podcast.
Yeah, they could be listening to this anytime. You could be listening to this. It could be December. It could be Christmas time.
Then you're really behind on the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, people do that. I no judgment here. If they're listening, that's all that matters to me. Nikki, I don't know if you've seen this. You're on TikTok a lot. Have you seen the ladies on TikTok getting upset about the Joe Burrow rumors lately?
First of all, I didn't know Joe Burrows was like dating somebody, I did see the other night there was like a ton of TikToks of ladies of all ages, young and old, who were having fits because they heard that he's engaged. Yeah, the rumors are swirling right now. It's not officially confirmed because apparently this is commonplace for Joe Burrow that he's been dating this gal, Olivia Holtzmacher, for a long time, and yet it's not really talked about too much. So a pretty private relationship, but the rumors are that he must have popped the question recently and they're engaged. And a lot of people upset that he's now off the market. Well, I'd be excited, though, because that's a powerful last name that she has. And so she'd be moving into Olivia Burrows, which is a little lighter than whatever she had before.
Yeah.
That's a hearty last name.
Most people at least know how to spell her last name now once she gets married, I guess.
So, Nikki, I have a question for you. Because this is something that I've contemplated now for a long time with Joe Burrow. In the beginning of this, we talked about how people don't really know that they were together. And a big reason why that is, and this was pointed out not too long ago on TikTok as kind of controversial, is that Joe Burrow, like all over his Instagram, she's not a single post. There's no Olivia on there at all. But if you go to Olivia's profile, he's all over her Instagram profile. She's everywhere.
That's a flag. I don't know what color flag it is, but that's a flag.
That's what I thought.
He should. I mean, if they're going to get engaged, he should be somewhere on there. Unless his page is purely football. That's it.
See, that's what I said too. Hudson asked. She says it's just like football posts. And it's like a mix of him out and about, of him doing advertisements, him doing football. And so I just thought it was interesting. It would be one thing if he wasn't on hers. But if you go to her profile, he is like almost the main feature.
Yeah, so maybe he's just like, hey, I'll do you a solid. I'll let you post about me all you want. Maybe that's what he's thinking.
That's not a good relationship.
Why not? He's a star.
But that makes her less.
He's doing more favors for her Instagram than she's doing for his, probably.
That's not how relationships work. It's a 50-50.
And think about, listen, all the ladies are already upset, right, that he's just got engaged. He would probably lose a bunch of followers if he starts posting about his fiance all the time.
Well, again, it just depends. Does he have like a professional Instagram side, or is it a lot of personal stuff as well? If he has a lot of personal stuff, then there's no reason she shouldn't have made an appearance. And then that way that would have warned everybody who had crushes on him. So they would not be so sad. But yeah, I mean, you would expect her not even on stories or anything.
Yeah, not that anybody's seeing. That was like the big thing too, is like when they first they've been dating for like 4 or 5 years, and it's kind of just came to light now when they're getting engaged, which is crazy. And so I think he's kind of like edging into being like the NFL like pretty boy vibe, which I get. It's got him a lot of followers, but you think he would have posted her like once, sometime between like then and now.
Actually, if you were dating someone and it's been 4 or 5 years, you should have made your way by posting yourself on their own.
Yeah, at this
social
point.
media, because you probably have the phone password. You just pop a picture up there of yourself.
That's right.
Like, just do something. I don't know. Joe Burrow, I think that's a little disappointing.
I don't know. I think Isaiah is just jealous that the Bengals have such a good quarterback, and he's just trying to find any way to drive a wedge and derail their season.
It'd be a darn shame if right before the season started, him and Olivia ended. Joe might be a little shooketh.
A little engagement strife.
Yeah.
Maybe the Bengals were like, hey, don't say anything about it, because they liked him being the pretty boy. And they liked that. And so maybe they were the ones who were like a big driving force of just not putting her everywhere.
That's true.
You got to check in on this. Who's the NFL's previous pretty boy? It's Tom Brady, right?
I would say
who was famously married. Do you think he posted about Giselle a bunch on his Instagram?
Well, I mean, whether he did or didn't. It didn't work out.
Yeah, but he had family and like she was pretty also. So I think it was just like impressive that their pretty boy had such an amazing, spouse and stuff. So I don't know if it's exactly the same.
But I just feel like the ladies that didn't derail their interest in Tom Brady. So maybe that goes against the argument that Joe Burrow shouldn't post about her because it would eat into that demographic. Because I bet you Tom Brady, everybody knew he was married and he still had ladies loving him. So.
Hey, 56 weeks ago, he still has a post up. Happy birthday, Giselle. On his Instagram.
So he didn't remove her completely.
Removed her.
Oh my gosh.
She's on there. She's still on there, which is impressive.
Listen, social media is a game, all right?
Yeah.
And it just depends on how you're playing it. And it seems like Joe Burrow is playing it kind of dirty there.
Dangerous way.
Yeah, he's living dangerously, but I guess that's how he likes it.
You know what? It's working out for him. He's getting engaged, so congratulations.
That's right. She must be fine with it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for joining us, Nikki. We got a good podcast coming up. Nikki, you missed this. We tried the new Wendy's breakfast sandwiches today.
Oh, the English muffin ones?
Yeah.
So good.
Are they good?
Oh, I mean, we don't want to spoil it.
We would hate to spoil it.
Yeah, but they might have been. They might have been real tasty.
I thought they were good. Who knows what Hudson thought?
That's right.
Well, that's good because sometimes when you get like the first release of stuff from Wendy's or you get it so early in the morning, it's not the A game. So if it's good, then that's impressive.
They were good and they were delivered and they still held up.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's on the Radio You Riot YouTube channel and Facebook as well, and in the audio podcast and a whole bunch of other stuff. So stick around.
And we'll see you guys soon.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
I've got a new video here. You know the guy who spent $14,000 to make a collie costume for himself, a lifelike dog costume?
Yes, I do remember that man.
He's constantly in the news now. I guess he just has like a YouTube channel that just gets all kinds of views and riles people up. But I was just looking at his latest video, and I know we've been, you particularly, a little harsh on the human collie man.
Is it harsh?
I think you've been harsh.
I don't know that I feel like I've been fair,
but a little harsh. But
whatever.
The newest video, I just want to point out that he's actually living the dream. And he says he's living his dream because his dream as a little child was to grow up and be a dog. And now he's doing it. But I mean, even more than that, I think even you and I, we don't long to be dogs. We're not Therians, but he's living the dream. He's got this, he's in a wagon. He's got this lady pulling him all around town. And then every so often he gets to stop and people will pet him and love him. What else do you want? You don't have to walk. You get affection from strangers and a lady takes you everywhere you want to go.
It's a wild job.
Yeah. It's good work if you can get it. The only thing stopping us from this is $14,000.
And the fear of embarrassment.
But nobody knows who he is. So we could be in there. Nobody would know.
But
we could get like a big costume. It could be both of us inside. And do you want to be the head or the legs?
I know for a fact that I would feel, I mean, the pride. I have some pride here.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm a prideful guy.
Uh-huh.
I myself couldn't do it. I couldn't hop up in there. It's not me. You see what his official breed is? This is about the only thing that's been accurate so far.
What is it, a border collie?
He's a wackadoodle.
Oh,
that's what he said. That's what he calls himself. And so I'm just glad that we're on the same page with that. He's a wackadoodle.
It's goofy, but he's paving the way.
See, but Hudson, if we encourage this, then you know what's going to happen? We're going to have 16 of these dudes rolling around.
And I want to be one of them.
No, I can't encourage this. I can't get behind this in any way, shape, or form.
But you're missing all the benefits. We've already listed out. Affection from strangers. You don't have to walk. A lady pulls you around everywhere you want to go. You just bark. You literally bark commands at her. hey, take me to wherever. And she'll take you. And all kinds of views on YouTube. It's everything I want.
See, but I thought we left all this in the dust when we were like 6 years old. My mom used to push me in like a car just like that. I used to sit in a wagon like that. And then you know what happened?
And wasn't that the best time of your life?
I grew up. I think that if he wants to be treated this way, that's fine. But then he's like not allowed to stay up past 9 p.m. He can't play video games. He's not allowed to have a phone.
He's a dog. He can sleep all day long.
Yeah, I think that it's fine for him to do that as long as he also doesn't get the advantages of being an adult. If he doesn't want to act like an adult.
Human.
Yeah.
He's got to live a dog life.
You're an outside dog too. How you like me now? You're an outside dog. You're in the backyard in the doghouse.
The one downside I can see is probably warm in that costume, don't you think?
Gotta be hot.
It's got to be so hot. But, I mean, for all the other perks you get, might be worth it.
Not worth it.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
A suspect in the city of Monterey may have just done himself in by allegedly texting a police officer accidentally to alert this police officer of criminal activity that this fellow was supposedly engaged in. In other words, this guy was trying to text to set up he was trying to text about the crime to somebody else. Somehow, this is what I don't understand. Why did he have the police officer's phone number?
See, I was thinking that same thing. Like, what did he text? 911? You wouldn't have done that. So then who's he texting? He
somehow, maybe he just mistyped. But what he was about to do, it's a fortunate thing that this was able to be stopped because he allegedly texted this police officer that he was in Monterey, had a gun, and wanted assistance in confronting a group of people for an unknown reason. So he was about to, some kind of gun violence he was about to engage in with a group of people. That's no good. But for some reason, instead of texting one of his buddies, he wound up texting the wrong number, sent it to a police officer, and now, the rest is history. You text that type of thing to a police officer, nothing good is going to happen to you.
Maybe he wanted stopped. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because he even gave his location and a description of his vehicle.
That's just clumsy.
Yeah, like maybe he wanted the police to find him or something. I don't know.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
That's a reasonable explanation, right? That he's just indirectly confessing somehow.
Yeah.
Especially because it sounds like maybe there's some kind of, drug thing involved. And so he thought he'd be better off, like if somebody is kind of putting him up to this, like you need to go shoot up that group or we'll have you. Maybe he's like, if I make it seem like I'm just really dumb and text the police instead of just actually telling the police and being an informant, maybe they won't be mad at me.
See, I'm thinking maybe this was like the introduction to a gang, possibly, where he's trying to get in, and they said, you have to do this, but he didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And so he went ahead and got the police involved, but he can now go back and still be in the gang.
That's right.
After he gets out of jail, he can be like, guys, they got me, but I'm back because I did it.
He hasn't burned any bridges.
Exactly.
Which is real fortunate for him,
That's
I guess.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's very tactful. That kind of thinking, he'll go far in the gang world.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was thinking, too. He'll be top dog before long.
He'll be real double crosser. Nobody will be able to trust him. That's amazing. Well, fortunately, that one crime was able to be stopped, and it just in a really dumb way.
You ever texted the wrong number on accident? Like you might have texted your mom, you texted your aunt, your girlfriend, your mom.
I don't think I've really done that.
You've never done that?
No,
I've done that a couple times.
That was noteworthy.
See, I've done that a handful of times where I meant to text somebody else, and then I end up texting like my mom or my aunt or something, and it never goes well for you.
No, that's rarely a situation where that can improve things.
But you always try to get out of it either way. You're like, oh no, this was meant for you. I meant to send this to you.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Now, is it too early to start thinking about Halloween costumes yet?
This is the time to do it.
You think so?
I think if you want a good costume, me and my friends already have a group message where we're talking about our Halloween costume. There were texts yesterday of ideas of what we should be wearing. Because you have to plan it out in enough time where you can order the costume online or whatever you need for it. And so you have to get the train rolling, especially if you want to do a group costume.
Oh, yeah.
Then you want to get that train rolling early.
But you also want to make sure you don't wind up in the same costume as somebody else accidentally, because if you're doing something trendy, that's definitely a possibility. So, yeah, no, this is prime Halloween costume time. Well, let me add an idea into the mix for you. Are you going to dress up Jim the dog? Jim the Basset Hound?
I always consider dressing up Jim. It just depends on if he's going to be incorporated into my plans or not. Like, if I'm having a Halloween party at my house, then of course he's going to have a costume.
Yeah, he has to.
If I'm going to be out and about, then I don't need Jim to be dressed up, because then he's going to be just like all uncomfy in that costume and no one's going to see him.
Right, what's the point?
I won't put him through that stress. But if people are going to see him on Halloween, then he will be in costume.
Well, here's an idea for you. Here's an idea. You could have a matching costume with Jim the dog, because this year Hostess is putting out Twinkie and Ding Dong costumes for adults and dogs.
That's cute.
That's cute, right?
It looks pretty cute.
Jim the Basset Hound his body lends itself to being a Twinkie.
I mean, he is a Twinkie. That's what he is.
He sure is.
I could spray paint him yellow if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And he could be a Twinkie.
You just have to remember to put those 3 little dots
Little white dots on top.
Yeah, but now it is unusual. I'm looking at this picture. The Twinkie costume's upside down. Like,
what do you mean it's upside down?
It seems to me that the 3 little dots would be on the dog's tummy, on its stomach area.
But nobody can see that, though.
Yeah, so then you're just a yellow tube.
Yeah.
A little yellow sponge. But I like it. I think it's, there's been cheap imitations and knockoffs in the past, and Hostess has finally said, no, we're doing the real thing. Now you can actually get a Hostess real-life branded Ding Dong or Twinkie costume for you and or your dog. Do you think it's unfair, though? Your dog can't eat a Ding Dong. I probably wouldn't advise it eating a Twinkie, but I think that technically would be allowed.
Maybe.
But
probably not.
A Ding Dong, absolutely not, right?
Yeah,
because it's chocolate.
Yeah.
So do you think it's unfair to dress up your dog as a Ding Dong? That doesn't seem right.
Well, you're not. It's a Twinkie.
But there's also Ding Dong.
Oh, is there also?
Yeah, Twinkie and Ding Dong options, both available for humans and dogs.
By this costume anyway.
You don't think it doesn't meet your standards?
I think the human one, decent. People could tell that's a Twinkie.
Yeah.
But the dog one isn't doing it for me. I mean, it looks like a backpack. So for me, it's not really enough to. I bet it's expensive too. I don't know how much it costs.
I looked it up. It's about $30
for the set.
For
each?
One each, yeah.
So it's $60 we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's adding up. It kind of looks like a 3-hole punch.
Yeah, it doesn't look
a 3-hole punch dog.
And I always think that if you go with something that's trending on Halloween, like if you see something online that's trending and a lot of people are clicking on it, then there's going to be other people dressed up as that. And if you have the same costume as somebody else, it just takes some of the fun away.
Embarrassing.
You got to come up with your own thing.
Yeah, you think this is going to trend?
I don't know. But it's one of those costumes that's easy enough that someone could just buy and put on.
Yeah.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Do you use subtitles?
I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
For everything?
For everything. For every movie. Every football game. Every basketball game. I've got them things on there.
Every single thing.
Every single thing I have on my TV.
That's surprising to me. And
all my friends do too.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring it up is because a new survey finds that 53% of people leave the subtitles off when they watch TV, typically, if it's in English or the language they speak anyways. But 38% leave the subtitles on. That means there's a lot of people that are undecided.
A lot of people in the middle.
Yeah, there's a meaningful amount of people that don't have a strong opinion, but 38%, you think that's high or low, the percentage of people that leave subtitles on all the time?
For me, it feels low, but that's only because I know that all my friends do it. Like, whenever I go to my friends' houses, they always have the subtitles on. I haven't been to a house where I've watched a movie with subtitles off in a while.
Yeah.
That I can even remember.
I get watching the movies. Like, if for me, I'm with you. Anytime I watch a show or a movie and it's on a TV, I will want the subtitles on. I prefer them on. If I'm at somebody else's house or something, or watching with somebody else and they don't have the subtitles on, I don't raise a hand and say, hey, but
I will, depending on who it is. If it's one of my friends, I will.
Yeah. But if it's me, I prefer the subtitles on, but I don't do that for sports. You do that for sports?
I always have them on there.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just never take them off because it's a hassle to have to take them off. And so I just leave them on usually.
I guess if you're watching everything through YouTube TV, then if once you set the default, right, it probably just sticks
it does it for everything.
Unless you just mess with it. Yeah. I don't do it for sports, but I'll tell you, there's one other instance where I don't necessarily like the subtitles, and you know what it is? When I'm watching something on my phone.
Oh, yeah. I don't have subtitles on my phone. It's too small of a screen.
That's right. It takes up there's not enough real estate for the subtitles to be able to squeeze in there. But we're not alone. But it is interesting. Do you think this makes sense that adults, that if you're under 30 years old, like we are, you're more likely to have the subtitles on than for older folks? The most likely generation to have subtitles on is 18 to 29 years old.
Yeah, the 63% there, much higher than everyone from 30 and older is all right around 34%. So
why do you think it's a newer phenomenon? You almost would think that maybe older folks would be more likely to have subtitles on because maybe they're more hard of hearing or something like that.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Maybe they're also more hard of seeing. So I guess I don't know. But it surprises me, even though I know that now it's becoming more common. I just don't know why.
See, it's wild because subtitles have been around since the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
But listen here. I think the reason, this could be one of the many reasons why the subtitles are on my TV and they're not on a bunch of older people's TVs, and that's because I know how to find them.
You think that's the solution?
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that they can't.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I know where it is, and I know how to maneuver to that area.
Yeah.
Not saying that that's the reason that everybody doesn't have them on. But a lot of times you get into the gist.
Like 35-year-olds probably would also be able to figure it out if they needed to, but they just don't feel the need apparently.
And like once you get into the rhythm of watching it without it, like at my parents' house growing up, we never had the subtitles on, and so I never would even have thought to have turned them on the TV. But once I got into my own place, for whatever reason,
and you realize how convenient it is.
We turned them on one time, and ever since then, we've kept them on.
And the rest is history.
Precisely.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Can you believe this, Isaiah? Doctors are reminding parents to be careful around ceiling fans after a new report has come out. A new study has been published documenting how frequent it is for children to go to the emergency room with ceiling fan related injuries. Would you believe me if I told you that every year about 2,300 children are treated for head injuries caused by ceiling fans in U.S. emergency rooms? Forget about all the ceiling fans in homes across the nation.
Yeah, I could see that. Holding your child above your head, playing with them playfully.
They say that is that's what it typically comes from, is either parents taking their kids and doing the, I don't know, rocket ship or whatever, throwing them up in the air too close to a ceiling fan. You've probably seen a video or two scroll through your TikTok of that exact thing happening, and it's funny because the kid is okay. But sometimes the kid isn't okay. Sometimes the kid winds up with lacerations or worse. Concussion, skull fracture. It's all possible if you get too close to a ceiling fan and you're a little child.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, it's not something that I think doctors really need to warn about. I think people know.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not supposed to toss your kid into a ceiling fan.
They're not doing it intentionally.
Yeah, there's no way no matter how many times you warn them, I don't think it's going to matter. Because in that moment, you're just being playful. You aren't thinking about
just having fun.
Obviously, if you were trying to be cautious, you wouldn't be tossing your kid over your head anyway. But you're trying to be playful, fun. All of a sudden, you hit the ceiling fan.
Yeah.
But again, that's just the lay of the land for kids nowadays.
It just happens. It's just...
It happens to everybody. Everybody's been smacked around as a child. That's just how it goes.
Did you ever get your head knocked into a ceiling fan?
I'm not sure if I did. But even if I did, it seemed as if I've made it out okay.
If you did, it probably knocked you so hard you forgot. Wiped your memory of that.
Didn't even know.
I'm pretty sure... I got thrown into a ceiling fan a time or two.
You look like it.
It builds character. It builds character. And not only did I get this is I think this is special. Not only did I get hit by a ceiling fan, I'm sure a time or two as a child, I also remember getting electrocuted by a ceiling fan because
as a child or an adult?
A child.
Okay.
Yeah, as a child because I remember it was we were playing Nerf guns, and one of the bullets got up on the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan wasn't spinning at the time, but I had to climb up and get it. However, in the light fixture of the ceiling fan, one of the sockets did not have a light bulb in it for who knows what reason. I guess I'll blame my dad for that one, and I accidentally stuck my finger in that socket as I was trying to get the Nerf gun.
Gotcha, huh?
Yeah, that'll wake you up.
Yeah, everybody's been electrocuted a time or two, too.
Yeah.
Not yet again the lay of the land.
Not usually as a child, hopefully. But
you again, the fork. Everybody knows about the fork.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
It's like one of the most well-known things you're supposed to not do.
Yeah. I was just disappointed. I thought I would get like superpowers or something.
No.
When you get electrocuted. But thought I'd turn into like Jamie Foxx and Spider-Man, but it did not work out that way.
Yeah, I think this is one of those times when, doctors tell you what you're not supposed to do. But yet again, I just don't think it matters.
And it just kind of makes you want to do it more, right?
I think, maybe not.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Question now is, have you ever walked into somebody's house and seen something when you walked in that made you instantly want to turn around and walk out? Isaiah, what are you thinking about this?
I've got a myriad of thoughts. One of them being, like, I'm thinking about this, like, if I was on, like, a date-wise, right?
Yeah.
I walk into a girl's house, and there's just, like, food, like a plate with food on it. Anything that's, like, messy. If it's a mess, I want to walk out. If it's a gross mess, right away, I want to walk out.
You think it depends, though? Because, like, if it's somebody you know and you're coming in and you've walked, like, they didn't know you were coming, that's different, right? If they have a sink full of dirty dishes, but they didn't know, they weren't expecting you, you give them a pass, right?
Yeah, no.
If it's a first date and you're like, hey, let's go back to my place, and then it's dirty dishes, that's a little different.
Can't do it, no.
Yeah.
If you have dishes just sitting out, then no, it's an automatic no.
Banana peel.
Or if your place is just a mess. If I walk in your house and your place is just a mess, I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty clean guy, so that's one right off the rip for me. If it's a mess in there, I can't do that. Or the other one too, if it's a mess and it stinks, it smells bad, bad odor when I walk through the door.
Don't like bad house smell.
I have a stinky dog, and I try really hard to make my house smell good.
Yeah.
When you walk through the door, so if it smells bad, I mean, you have no excuse.
What about this one? Regina says she used to sell Mary Kay, and one referral's house she walked into had a stripper pole.
That'll make you turn around.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wendy says that she will walk out if she sees a house full of cats right away. Are you allergic, Wendy, or do you just not like cats?
Maybe she's not a big cat gal.
Or do you say you're allergic, but actually you just don't like them? I mean, if it's a lot of cats, you don't have to be allergic. I understand that. This is a good one. Adam says he delivers furniture, so he's seen a lot, but the worst, this is bad, when people have the used puppy pads, the training pads for dogs on the ground.
Yeah, those are gross.
Yeah,
and that would be another leading factor to your house smelling bad as well.
And how could you not just clean those up right away? And here's one for
Especially
me.
if they're used. Like, come on.
Yeah, you got to be on top of that. I've got two, and they're wildly different. One is we've all been over to people's house, and this is tough. I know it's tough if you have kids, but when you just walk in and there's just like, how am I supposed to maneuver in this house because you've got the kids have just left the toys everywhere? You gotta work on that. If you know people are coming, I know it's tough with kids, but we gotta walk here. I'm walking here. And the other one, completely different direction. If I see weaponry in your house, well, I'm talking like a katana on the wall or like
a katana,
guns, anything. If you've got weaponry just out, especially if you're displaying it, that's just weird to me.
So then you're out on that.
Yeah, that would be odd to me to walk in and just see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel that. I think for me, another one. Crystals.
Does that count like a salt lamp? Is that the same?
No,
not the same.
If you've got the stones, and if you got the stones, you got the stones. And I don't have anything against the stones, but I'm just not with the stones. I don't want to be cursed. I don't know what you say to me.
That's right. I
bring the good vibes,
I understand that. Dee texted in. She said, if you've got a pet snake, that's understandable. Some people just don't roll with snakes. Makes them uncomfortable.
Justin's is so good.
What's Justin? What does he got?
He said, I used to do handyman work, and I got this one dude's house one time and got started working to find out that he had a pet skunk that he was just letting wander around the house.
Oh.
What an odd pet.
Skunks are cute, though.
But they're a terrible pet to own.
If you if you de-gland them or whatever, like you can take the stink things out, which I don't know if that would be considered cruel or not. And if you could, I think you could give a skunk a happy life.
If you've got one of those weird pets, man, yet again, I'm out on that. If you're the kind of person that's like maybe a pet skunk, you could have went with a lot of different animals before that. You had the opportunity to go in a lot of different directions. That's what you chose.
Yeah, but they're cute though.
Doesn't matter if it's cute.
I understand it. I defend the skunk people unless it's cruel to do.
It's like a rabid animal.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Oldest trick in the book. The oldest excuse in the book. Something's missing. You fail to present something that's important. Oh, my dog ate it. Sorry, what am I supposed to do? But you know why it's such a long-standing excuse? Because a lot of times it's true. And right here, it is absolutely true about a Boston man who was about to fly away for his wedding. He was about to get married in Italy, a destination wedding. But just about a week before he was supposed to fly away, his dog ate his passport.
Well, that's not good.
That'll put a damper on the situation. So he was actually able to get, this might sound like doom and gloom, like, oh, what, is the wedding not going to happen? Is it going to be postponed? How's he going to get there? Well, somehow he was able to get an emergency appointment at the Boston Passport Agency so that he could expedite getting that passport redone for him. So he was able to get out to Italy. Some nice special favors called in for this guy because he had the excuse that his dog went ahead and ate his passport. It was a close call for this man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's not ideal. When I think about getting a passport too, passports take a long time to get. Yeah. Usually, if you're not paying a bunch of money.
Yeah, no, they can't.
But you would think that you would keep it in a safe spot.
That's
how in the world did his dog even get a hold of his passport?
Right,
when you leave it on the counter.
I mean, I can understand that, but if you've got a dog that's prone to this type of thing, you should know, right? You ought to know that. Maybe this was the dog's way of getting back at him because obviously he's about to leave to go to Italy to get married and then probably a honeymoon, and so this dog's going to be not with his owner for quite some time. Maybe he doesn't even like the lady he's getting engaged to. We don't know. About to get married to. So maybe this dog was just trying to exact some revenge on this guy, some preemptive revenge. And it sounds like for the dog, it didn't even work out because now the dog has eaten a passport, which isn't a good thing to do. And this guy's still going to be able to go to Italy and get married.
And the dog's in trouble.
And leave yeah, that's right. Now the dog is probably
blacklisted.
Yeah, the owner's
the whole family.
Not too pleased with this dog. But what would you feel, though, if you were the type of person, because it takes a long time to get a passport, usually have a very long wait. And if you want that wait to be expedited, you've got to pay extra. You got to pay up. Mm-hmm. And then this guy just comes along and says, hey, my dog ate my passport. And he just gets pushed right to the front of the line. How does that work?
See, I wouldn't go for it. I wouldn't be very happy if you were one of the people that were trying to also get one quickly. But since it like kind of caught fire in the news and whatnot, that's why he was able to jump to the front of the line.
I'm going to start, if the next time I need a new passport, I'm going to feed my old one to my dog.
So here you go.
Because clearly this is the way to get things done, to get ahead in life.
And then have them write a press release about it. And make sure you get yourself on the news, and then you'll get a passport right away.
Yeah, and I'm sure that this guy's a good excuse. Oh, I'm about to get married in Italy. Nobody made you get married in Italy. And what? Everybody else is just getting their passport for what? Giggles? No.
Just for fun?
We have important stuff to do with just as important as you getting married. Maybe I have a business trip that I need to go on. Maybe I have a vacation I spent thousands of dollars on. Who knows what it is? Does that even factor in? It really shouldn't, should it?
Maybe next time you'll keep it away from your dog. I think that any mistake that your dog makes is always 100% on you. Because you have to know your dog. I would never make a mistake like this for Jim because I know that I can't trust him. I know that if it's within reach, he will ruin it, and I would never make a mistake like this.
He's a mischievous weasel. You got to keep passports far, far away.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Melbourne, Australia. Let's hop over there where a man was caught. This is no good. A man was caught lighting small fires around the area. Now,
sounds silly.
Why would you do that? That right there, you just have to ask why. What purpose? That's dangerous. Not only that's how wildfires start. You bring a country to its knees doing that.
Sounds like something like a 10-year-old would do.
Yeah.
That they just found out how to use a lighter. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to catch some things on fire. If you're an adult starting fires, you're just an idiot.
Randomly, yeah. That's already a problem right there. He lit a fire in a loading dock behind a school, in a car park, it looks like, or like a parking lot, and outside a real estate agent's office, as well as in several trash cans. He covered a lot of ground, it sounds like. But not only was he lighting fires, which the police caught up to him and arrested him for, but when they arrested him, they also searched him and found live ducklings in his underwear.
Why?
And how?
I don't understand why.
And how?
In his underwear, not in his shorts. In his underwear.
In his actual underwear, yes.
I like to call that the danger zone.
That's
how
for
many
sure.
live ducklings?
Dangerous for those ducklings. How many live ducklings? They found 2. He had 2 hidden in there.
It makes no sense to me. This story makes no sense to me.
In Australia,
he's lighting fires with ducklings in his pants.
I'm going to try to.
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to try to figure this out. You know what time of year it is in Australia? It's opposite, right? Does that mean it's winter there?
I'll check.
I imagine that if it is wintertime, maybe it's chilly. That explains why you would light a bunch of fires. You're cold. Also, maybe the ducks, I imagine them being all fuzzy as they are. Maybe they're real warm. Maybe some nice insulation for you.
It says it's 70 today.
70?
Yeah.
So not that.
It's not that.
That doesn't check out.
It doesn't. No.
Just trying to play devil's advocate here and to try to try to reason.
Are you going to try to justify a man having ducklings in his pants?
I'm not going to.
Is that what you're doing?
I'm not going to excuse it. I'm just trying to
figure out.
Yeah.
His thought process.
Especially like, let's think if he's going to have a lawyer, right?
What is that lawyer going to?
How is that lawyer going to? I imagine
attack that case.
Probably just a guilty plea is what I would have to imagine, or maybe insanity.
That could be a good one.
Yeah.
Considering he was he was caught catching small fires. Is it a crime having ducklings in your pants?
Well, he's being charged with animal
cruelty. There we go. Thank goodness.
Yeah. I think having any animal in your underwear, that feels cruel to the animal.
Yeah, you don't want it in there.
They don't want to be in there. I don't think they asked for that. Do you think the ducklings were like fully submerged, or were their heads like peeking out? Like he was using it as a way to transport
like a fanny
them.
pack kind of feel? I think they were.
Maybe on each of his hips he had a duckling head.
I think they were fully submerged. Which makes it even worse.
Yeah, I feel bad. It probably didn't smell good in there.
I can only imagine.
Those poor ducklings.
It sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, they made it out unscathed, apparently. Safe from the fire, too.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
It's release day at Wendy's. Their brand new English muffin breakfast sandwiches are available now, and so we're giving them a try. Some are saying these are good. Other reports that have gotten an early taste, they're saying it could possibly be even better than McDonald's McMuffin. We'll be the judge of that. Isaiah, you have the sausage English muffin sandwich from Wendy's.
I do, which is what if I were to get a McMuffin, I would get the sausage one. You have the bacon one, correct?
I have the bacon one. I left the cheese on. You went sans cheese for these. And first impression is smells really good.
The egg looks very impressive.
It's a good egg. It's a pretty good egg on there.
It looks very impressive. I think the egg sausage obviously looks solid, but the egg looks very good. Very tasty. It's a soft English muffin.
If you peel that apart, that's impressive. That is impressive if you're watching along on the RadioU RIOT Facebook page and YouTube channel. Last question real quick. Would you normally order your sausage McMuffin with no cheese?
I always go no cheese.
Why is that?
I'm just not a fan of it on eggs. I'm not an egg and cheese kind of guy.
That's controversial. All right. Well, let's dive in here. Oh, wow. I was not expecting this to be as good as it is.
I was.
And it's good.
It's great.
This is surprisingly good.
I don't know why you've been sleeping on Wendy's breakfast. I told you earlier this week on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I said that Wendy's breakfast, I think, may have surpassed McDonald's.
They have good breakfast. Let me see. If you're talking cost here, do you think this is more or less than McDonald's? It was, granted, this is like on Wendy's website. I had to DoorDash it, but the sandwiches themselves, the two sandwiches were $7.58 total.
Is that more or less than a McMuffin?
Yeah, that's a little more, right? I mean, it's comparable, probably, maybe a little more, but I don't know. Maybe I never order the McMuffin at McDonald's because I'd always get the biscuit or a McGriddles over that. But so maybe I'm not quite up to date with how good a McMuffin is at McDonald's.
There's no way it's this good.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be real shocking if it's this good. This is impressive from Wendy's. I would consider ordering this, even though I like the other breakfast stuff on Wendy's menu.
Yeah, I would too, because it's that good. And this isn't a meal that I would normally order at a fast food breakfast restaurant. I would never go McMuffin, but this here, I would get this.
Yeah.
If I was driving into work this morning and I had a choice between going to McDonald's and getting any breakfast item and going to Wendy's and getting this, I would go to Wendy's and get this.
Wow. Now that's really saying something.
Because I don't know what I would get. If I went to McDonald's right now, I don't know what I would for breakfast. The McGriddle's good.
Yeah.
I would put the McGriddle comparable to this. Obviously the hash browns are amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, the hotcakes are hotcakes.
You are listing off a lot of things that are pretty good at McDonald's breakfast.
But none of them are better than this.
No, you're what I do realize, and we kind of alluded to this earlier this week when we mentioned these before we tried it, is that when you're out and you need fast food breakfast, I always just default to, McDonald's. But I always forget that Wendy's has breakfast, and it's just as good, if not better. And it's not super expensive. So Wendy's is going to have to become a more viable option. They've impressed me here. This is good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I came into it with high expectations, and yet again, they have blown me away.
You want to give it a rating on the way out the door?
Good question. I'm going to go with like a 4.5.
4.5?
Out of 5.
That's high. For me, I'm thinking on an English muffin sandwich scale, this is like a 4.75. On an overall breakfast sandwich scale, it's probably like a 4.
Fair.
It's very good. Well, this is
very good.
I'm glad we did this.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot.
This show only exists because of support from listeners like you.
Find out more and help out at radiou.com/donate.